With Dunkin' Go-Tos, you can get a great deal on two of your favorites, like 2 egg and cheese wraps for $2, 2 bagels with cream cheese spread for $4, and 2 bacon, egg, and cheese croissants for $5. In my opinion, it's a deal that's pretty tough to beat. That's just if you want my go-to cents. If you don't want my go-to cents, it's go too late. Dunkin' Go-Tos, a great deal for $2, $4, or $5. America runs on Dunkin'. Participation may vary. Limited time offer. Exclusions apply.
What's the focus? Pop culture, movies, and TV news. What's the focus? What's the focus?
All right, this is WTF, What's the Focus podcast. This is episode 12.1, question mark?
12? Wait, are you serious? Are you kidding me? 12 already?
Yeah, but did you notice the 0.1 because of under the circumstances? Mike, would you look,
in the game industry, that'd be called a hot fix. Yeah.
It would be a hot fix. I am your host, Ryan. Joined with me as always, Mr. Mike Michio.
Hey, what's going on? What's shaking?
Mike, I'd like you to briefly go over what has happened throughout the last 2 days with this podcast and why we're dropping this maybe just a smidgen late than we usually do.
Well, I feel in almost true form. I think our subject for today is, our actual leading character we're going to talk about played a massive joke on us. And, yeah, I think he took a giant shit over our first attempt over our first recording. And, Skype decided to take a fat dump on us and it was not fun at all. So,
and we're pretty unforgiving people.
Yeah, I'm going a little bit crazy. So I'm really feeling the Joker vibe right now.
Thank God, man.
Yeah,
me too.
Yeah.
Me too. I had to drink a little bit more whiskey to get right in the mindset. I was waiting to hear that laugh of yours, and now I'm really feeling it.
Let's fucking do it.
Let's fucking do it. All right. So, to preference this, and, I'm not going to say this a lot, but I am going to say this just once. Just like I said in the recording before this one. No. So this is going to be a conversation about not only what we're going to see within the Joaquinix Joker movie coming out in October, but we're going to dive back a little further, and we are going to just kind of talk about, in my opinion, the most...
If I could turn back time. Do it, Ryan.
If I can find a way.
We're going all the way back, baby.
All the way back, baby. Coming to you live from Phoenix, Arizona, all the way to Tacoma.
Oh, yeah. You better sit tight. It's going to be a hell of a ride.
Yes. So,
yeah,
Mike.
Yeah. Where do we begin? I mean,
this is
where do we begin? I mean,
this is what I was going to say, though. This is the most iconic villainous character
of all time.
Of all time. It doesn't matter, DC, Marvel, it just doesn't matter at all. This character has been with us for a very long time, within the comic book since 1940. Yeah. And then our first, on film was probably what we all remember back in the day, Mr. West playing Batman. And what was that? Was that 50s or 60s?
60s, yeah.
60s.
Along with that, first interpretation of on-screen Joker was, Cesar Romero's interpretation of him, which was a very, I want to say maybe almost straight out of the comics, but more of a comic punchline, so to speak. So, yeah, it was very, very cheesy in terms of, translating to today, but definitely nostalgic for anyone that obviously grew up with that.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, and very cheesy, like you said. I mean, when I look back at those actual pictures of him, it's what you would expect from somebody trying to take what they see in a 1940s comic book and put it on screen in the 60s.
Exactly. I mean, that's how comic books were interpreted back then, right? Like they were considered to be cheesy. So therefore the material was cheesy that came from it. So,
colorful and in your face, right?
Yeah. Yeah. They didn't get the depth of the origins of the characters. They just couldn't connect with them.
They just
Today,
weren't
it's
there,
like,
man.
they weren't fucking nerds to a level of like just owning it. You know what I mean? Like,
Yep.
I don't know. I'm just geeking out.
Just
Anywho,
geeking out. Yeah, so I mean, within that version, back in the 60s, I don't have a lot to say about it, but it's always good to address where things started from, and that's really where this character began. So,
stepping stones, man.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, it's all evolved from that, right? So, yeah.
And I would say the person who takes on, the Joker next, whoever's next in line, is always going to, look back at those old episodes and take a little bit of what he did before and try to, obviously put your own spin on it. But, I think it's always very helpful looking at what other actors have done with this character, just to kind of get an essence of who that character really is from different, people's point of view, which I have to imagine would be pretty damn helpful, especially with a character like the Joker, who's just out there on all categories.
Yeah, and not to mention too, like this is a supervillain that or a villain per se that has no superpowers, which is kind of cool in itself. Yeah, I mean his insanity is literally what creates his his aura, which is awesome.
Yeah, I mean it also makes him even more terrifying. It's like you could almost justify somebody with powers. It's like, okay, they have powers, that's pretty scary. This person's just a normal, regular human being who just likes to see the world burn for no apparent reason.
Exactly. And for more often than not, like someone that's definitely, seems to have nothing to lose. And with that, the playing cards are very, very favored against you. So yeah.
All right. Well, do you have anything? Like I said, I'm not going to touch up base on.
No, man. Shoot straight ahead to 1989. Let's go, Tim Burton.
Thank you, Tim Burton. Michael fucking Keaton as Batman. One of my.
You want to get
Batmans.
crazy? Let's get crazy.
Let's get crazy. The answer is always yes when Michael Keaton asks me that question.
Oh man, fucking love that guy. He's funny as hell too. Like,
oh my god,
actor.
his actual character and the other guys as the police chief. And side gig at Bed Bath and Beyond is just, dude. It's one of my favorite things in the world when all of a sudden he's running, meeting,
all his TLC freaking connections and little windows,
but refuses to know about it. But what about when he's actually doing his sales meeting at his Bed Bath and Beyond meeting, and all of a sudden he goes, "Hey, well, by the way, there's a serial rapist in Crown Heights," and he goes, "Oh, sorry, wrong job." But, if you live in there, use the buddy system.
Exactly.
Just like a brutal serial killer in that neighborhood.
Yeah.
And then,
awesome.
Oh, man. No, and then, just what does he say? He's like, hey, don't forget to creep.
Yeah.
And he's like, that's got to be a TLC reference. He's like, nope, never heard of it.
All I'm saying is, man, don't go chasing waterfalls. That's it. All right, that's it. That's all I gotta say.
That whole movie. And he's like, hey, when did you do your first desk pop? It's got to be August 08.
What's the focus?
We got to get our focus.
Yeah. But
that's
anyway,
right. We're going to go on little tangents from time to time. So 1989, Tim Burton going ahead and going after the Batman movies starring Michael Keaton and Jack Nicholson as the Joker. For me, this is the Joker I grew up with, right? I mean,
big name, man. Very big name. Big name. Even way bigger than obviously the leading role for Batman for that movie, I feel, was obviously
absolutely
Nicholson leading into it. Yeah.
Yep. Totally. And I would say, kind of like what you said before, it's interesting getting a bigger named actor at that particular time for the villain over the main star character. That's how big of a character this is and how much they wanted that character to succeed on the big screen, which is huge.
No,
what did you think about Jack Nicholson's rendition of the Joker?
I thought it, obviously it went up the bar from, the 60s, I won't even say cartoon, but the live action show. But, the whole gangster approach, was very much in tune with, obviously the original origin. I definitely felt that, it was an appropriate interpretation, and probably, it probably led the way for the other, roles to open up for those types of, comic characters, for those character actors to come through. And Nicholson, obviously such a wide range of, as far as his range goes in acting. Can't say enough about that guy. I mean, this is maybe 9 years after The Shining, this movie. So
I was just going to reference that. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, he probably got this role just due to his, his craziness that he portrayed in that movie. So yeah, it was very impressionable as a kid too, because it was kind of intimidating. I was I don't want to say scared, but I was definitely respected the power of seeing this character who was begrudged by, I believe, the way they set it up, and obviously he was like part of some like mob family, so to speak. And, he was betrayed, and obviously he gets his revenge, and it was a very interesting take. And for me, this is even before I even started reading comic books, so the original Batman movie was very impressionable. Even for me to this day, I still love the iconic soundtrack, for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. And in this one too, it's interesting how he actually became the Joker. I mean, he was wronged. He was within kind of like that mob boss family situation, but he also fell into a bunch of those drums of chemicals, and really that's kind of the way that they played his psychotic break actually taking place. It's like this chemical, whatever was in those drums, is the thing that transformed him finally into the Joker. And, you saw his, obviously, that big smile on him. It's not the cut, Heath Ledger cuts in the cheek. It's just like a one big mouth smile that's just stuck there.
Tell me, Ryan, have you ever danced with the devil in the pale moonlight? Right? Like, just, he had some great lines too. Like
He did. Yeah. And like you said, for me, I was definitely spooked out when I was watching this movie. I mean, he definitely was a character that was just goofy enough to be scary. You know what I mean? Like that playful, like, ooh, this is a situation where he probably shouldn't be goofing off right now because he's about to kill somebody, which is its own eerie feeling for me when I watch stuff like that anyway. And I thought he did a really great job. Obviously, it's Jack Nicholson, so, you're going to get a great performance, regardless from him. But his portrayal of the Joker, I thought, was scary, and it was the perfect segue because how many years later from 1989 until 2008, we didn't see another Joker live action. Matter of fact,
we had to live with just the animated series Joker for that whole time.
Oh, shucks. Mark Hamill as the Joker for the last 20 odd years has been horrible.
Luke, is that you? What is it, Amperu? Yeah, dude.
He's not filming Star Wars because he's the fucking Joker, damn it.
Dude, Mark Hamill, what a talent too. I mean, just incredible voice acting career. I mean, outside of obviously, being Luke Skywalker and being iconic for the Star Wars movies. I mean, his portrayal in the animated series, was definitely to be taken seriously. It was very, very impressionable too as a kid.
Yeah. No, I mean, I still love watching those cartoons just if I have a little bit of free time and just throw those on because, in my opinion, some of those are better than some snippets of certain movies that have been released, in my opinion. But I've always really enjoyed his work as just a vocal actor as much as I like him as a physical appearance in the Star Wars films and, other things he's been in.
Do tell.
Well, I really like the shape of his lightsaber, and it comes out at a certain distance that I find very, very thrilling.
Yeah, what do you think about that severed arm?
That robotic arm could do more for you than you could possibly imagine.
I am your father. Yes, I am.
Oh, man. Do we have to take it to that point? Gosh darn it, man. This is what happens.
What are we, like 20 minutes in on this podcast? Oh, God.
Yeah, it's way too early for this. I bet you like at least 5 people were just like, and done. Click.
To be fair, more or less, this is a director's cut. So, yeah, you're getting what you're getting here. Okay, folks?
Yeah. You're really lucky that we actually decided to do
to come back because I was livid. Ryan texted me earlier today saying, you know what? Skype decided to take a shit and I just can't deal with this. Like, I cannot edit this podcast. Like,
I tried for over an hour and a half just to do even the first 15 minutes of our podcast. I couldn't get anywhere.
Yeah. and you're messaging me this, and I'm on my way to work, and I'm hearing about this, and I'm just like, oh, you fucking kidding me? This is iconic Joker right here, like the ultimate bad joke right here. Like, and I thought my jokes were bad. You know? Like,
leave it to Ryan Kerrigan to feed you the worst of the worst jokes.
Yeah. If you're good at something, never do it for free.
Oh, look at you. Yeah. Let's see what you did, you sly devil.
Sly son of a bitch.
You old minx, you.
Look at you. Yeah, man. I mean, just, pulling back to obviously Nicholson's, portrayal. Yeah, man. From that point on, I feel that movie definitely pushed the envelope for, obviously comic films to be taken seriously in Hollywood. And you can definitely see how, the industry kind of started to, almost follow suit after that. But like you're saying, yeah, we don't see this guy. We don't see this character till 2008 officially. Yeah. But, obviously we're hearing rumors about it after, obviously when Batman Begins comes out, and then obviously they tease the wonderful tease at the end of that movie with the Joker card and, end credits roll. And you're just like, oh, hell yeah. Like, we're going to get, not only do we just watch an awesome Batman movie, we're going to get the Joker in the sequel. So really, really cool stuff.
Really cool stuff. Yeah, no. And, I won't jump too far ahead, but interesting how when we did find out about, it's going to be the Joker, everybody was so pumped. And then when everybody found out it was Heath Ledger, everybody took a step back and was like, oh man, are you sure? Like,
yeah. Do you actually recall what the other candidates were at the time? I'm kind of blanking right now.
Well, I believe I was in the mix for a stint, and
I do recall that. You're right. You're right. Ryan Patrick Kerrigan. I remember.
Yeah.
RPK.
I got to tell you, Hollywood's pretty brutal, man. They pretty much told me flat out that I was just really chubby. So
you're looking more like a penguin. Just saying, but
it was hurtful. But I took the information, I used it, and I bettered myself later on.
It's all right. You could be a part of the Arkham Asylum. It's okay.
I'm not fat. I'm easy to see. Okay, these are things. This is things.
That's right. You don't need glasses to see me.
Hey, I'm a chef, man. You know what I mean? Like, what is the saying? You can't trust a skinny chef.
That's true.
That's what it is. That's what it is. That's why I got to keep up appearances.
Don't ever taste a thin chef's food. It's not good.
Never. That means he's not eating his own. That's the rumor.
So what's the secret then? Butter? It's got to be butter. I mean, for me, it's butter.
Just got to say, it's probably butter.
It's probably. I mean, I can't believe it's not butter. If it's not. So yeah,
that stuff's so gross.
Yeah. Sorry, my bad.
Right.
Did I derail? Is you bad?
You derailed,
isn't it? Oh no.
Oh no! All right, one last thing for me on Jack Nicholson, and actually, Mike, you're the one who brought it up, but I think it's kind of an interesting point because then you can look forward and you can see the main differences. Jack Nicholson's character of the Joker was very much about power and being still like a mob leader, taking over the higher powers of like all the other mobsters and becoming number one. Yeah. Which is interesting because he cares about image and he cares about the power and he cares about the money still. And the reason I bring that up is that is very, very different from the Heath Ledger Joker that we're about to talk about next. So it's interesting to see.
Almost kind of similar to Falcone's character in the first Batman.
Totally.
Movie, right? Totally. Like you would think that'd be the Joker, but I like how they twisted it around. But yeah, very, very interesting.
Yep. Yeah. So we can do a couple things, Mr. Michio. We could take a quick break, or we can just dive into Heath Ledger's performance and polish that off and then take a break. What would you like to do, my friend?
Let's take a break because I gotta put a smile on that face.
Is that a euphemism for some sex thing?
I don't know, man. There's some bondage, maybe a little S&M. I'm not sure. I'm not, maybe a little 50 Shades of Grey, but I'm sure he would have a lot of fun.
I don't like what the Joker's doing to you. You've changed. You have changed.
Oh, man. Well, when you do the same podcast 2 nights in a row, all bets are off.
That's why I didn't want the camera to be on during this cast. Oh, sadistic fuck.
I am losing it.
You're losing it. That's why we got to take a little break, but we will be right back.
WTF What's the Focus podcast is brought to you by Anchor. Anchor is the easiest way to make a podcast. Anchor gives you everything you need in one place for free, which you can use right from your phone or computer. Creation tools allow you to record and edit your podcast so it sounds great. They'll even distribute your podcast for you so it can be heard everywhere, including Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and many more. You can easily make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership. Download the Anchor app today or go to anchor.fm to get started.
All right. I am so pumped. I'm not even going to welcome everybody back. I don't even care. I'm skipping that whole part.
Do I look like a guy with a plan?
Does it make me sound like a dick? Like we just were like, oh, we're going on a break. And I just jump right back in. Like it was no time in between for them. I'm just like, all right, let's get fucking to it and just skip over them. Who cares? I'm excited to talk about the Joker. Damn it.
Hell yeah, bro. Like, let's do it.
Oh my God. All right. So Heath Ledger, my boy, R.I.P. Heath Ledger. First of all,
yes,
just by far, from what we've seen thus far, hands down, just the best performance of the Joker yet. Oscar winner, bro.
Yeah, yeah, man. I don't even know what to say. Like his performance was absolutely. Not even, I don't even think even going into, obviously, after his death, which was absolutely tragic.
Horrible.
I didn't even think that, that it'd be even possible to get that type of performance out of him. And it was incredible. It was amazing. Like it was, I mean, everything you would ever want for, in any type of portrayal of a beloved character. And he took the character to new heights, which is extremely hard to do, especially after us sitting on, the portrayal of, what Nicholson did, for the past, 20 years or something. So, yeah. Yeah,
man. And like you said, took it to new heights. But I kind of want you to dive into it because I know we spoke about it earlier. Like, tell us about, like, you've read articles like what he did to get into this, like, role 24/7. Like,
I mean, this is a method actor to its truest form. I believe I was reading stories where he locked himself in his room. He gave himself almost like the Howard Hughes treatment. I believe you were saying, he would look into mirrors and see himself from all different angles to see how he could, enhance his mannerism and his mannerisms and whatnot. And the big thing for me that really convinced me of like, wow, this is someone that went above and beyond to really like embody the role of the character was, here's obviously we've known Joker to have these scars on his face that, obviously disfigure his face that gives him this iconic smile. Right. And for him to embody the understanding of, I need to actually learn how to speak differently based upon if I really did have these scars. Like he would almost, he would almost do like a mini slur with his speech, and he kept doing like these clicky noises with his mouth. Like it was amazing. It was quite the portrayal for sure.
Yeah. And I love that you just mentioned just like those small details. And if you haven't done so, folks, go back and watch him in that movie and just look for those small details because that just really enhances the movie, at least for me, because that performance, if you look at it as a whole, it's a great performance. But if you look at the details of him and what he's doing and what he accomplished to be the Joker, it's just incredible. It really is. Just total embodiment of the psychopathic, just yet funny. I found him funny at times in the movie. Still had comedy, but just a ruthless killer. And he just played it so perfect. It was just so much fun to see.
Dark comedy, definitely at that. Like his introduction in that film was fucking bonkers. Obviously the introduction is his laugh, which is absolutely disturbing. And then obviously him confronting all those other mob lords in their meeting or whatever, and literally fessing up that he's the guy that they need to be worried about, and he knows what Gotham's problem is, and it's the Batman. And
want to see a magic trick?
Yeah, exactly. Like that whole scene was just Ta-da! Like, unbelievable. Like,
Doing jazz hands. Ta-da!
Yeah, exactly. Like, unbelievable. Such an incredible human being that just, made an amazing performance.
Yeah, and one of the things I like to touch base on and talk a little bit about is just his intelligence. He is not only ruthless, but he is strategic, and he is so intelligent. He anticipates people's moves. He usually knows what they're going to do before they do it, and that's why he always looks like, at least in the movie, he's always one step ahead, right? He had a plan for when he got caught. He got caught on purpose, and then he had a plan to get out by sticking that bomb device in some fat dude that exploded the cell. Like, he had everything just planned out to his benefit, and it was just the puppet master, And I love that, because it's not just somebody who you're going to see in a movie that's just like a slasher movie. It's not a Chainsaw Massacre where somebody's just ruthlessly getting beaten to death or whatever. This guy's methodical and strategic and just so much fun, and just kind of just seeing how his mind works. I just love it, man. I could watch that movie seriously multiple times a year easily and just enjoy every second of it.
No, absolutely. And going back to what you were saying about the depth of, the interpretation of this, interpretation of the Joker, I know I just said it earlier, and I actually want to correct myself. The first time you see him in this film is obviously the bank heist in the beginning of the movie. But what you were saying, like, this is a villain that is exhausted by society, what the human condition is capable of, and he wants to break the balance and bring, uproot the unestablished order. And he's literally an anarchist, and it's crazy. Like, his first drop line to that bank owner or whatever is whatever doesn't kill you simply just makes you stranger. And with that, like, that definitely gives you a good antidote of as far as who he is at his core, and then what is he searching for. He's searching to find, like you have always said to me, like, obviously Joker is the yin to Batman's yang or whatever, and that's literally it. Like, he's searching for that person.
Yeah, he's looking for that challenge. He wants to be mentally challenged. Yeah, and he thinks that all of it is a game, and that's part of the the crazy, right? He's having fun doing all this shit.
Yeah, no, it's right. It's like he's it's not about money, it's not about power, it's not about any of that.
He burns a whole pile of money.
Exactly. It's literally to make a mockery of the whole, of all the little systems that we have in place with society, and to literally, as he obviously, as he tries to turn Aaron Eckhart's character, I can't think of the name right now, Harvey Dent, he's trying to, say to him that the world is filled, is filled with chaos, and I'm just trying to give the society like almost like a little push, just to push it off the brink.
Just a little nudge.
Just a little nudge, exactly.
Just a little bit, just to see how it feels, just for a second.
Which is such deep material for a comic book film, like really deep. The writing also too, obviously, in those movies was really, really great. But obviously his portrayal was absolutely the shining point as far as the whole series, and obviously the second movie.
Yeah. I mean, even at the end of that movie, didn't he say when he was, I think Batman was pinned down by him, and he's like, "Are you going to kill me?" And he goes, "Kill you? Like, no, I need you." Like,
you complete me.
You complete me. Yeah, and it's just so cool. I mean,
to do this forever.
And they have. And like I mentioned, this character being around since 1940, he has been his arch nemesis since 1940. This is very much like you said, like we've talked about before, yin to the yang. With one comes the other. So it's been a fun battle between the two of them for a very long time, and it's only been getting a little bit better until maybe not this next movie, Mike?
Nope, too soon. Let's go back. Wait. We forgot one important part here.
I wasn't going to jump the gun. I was just, I was just,
hold up,
giving food for thought for the future.
Hey.
I don't know why I'm talking like this.
Now, shut your mouth. No, I'm just kidding. The biggest thing I feel that, maybe we kind of glanced over here was what how much of a different interpretation this obviously was from, obviously Nicholson's interpretation.
Big time.
Gangster towards actual psycho, someone that's mentally unstable, who's literally, in psychosis and finds, reasons within, reasons his own means to himself, and, is willing to do whatever it takes to prove his cause, so very, very dangerous character. I mean, to me, I thought, obviously, looking back at the the 1989 Batman film, like, yeah, that was a very powerful villain and whatnot, but this one is even more scary because you can't actually anticipate the next move. You don't know.
Very unpredictable.
Very unpredictable. And that in itself, like, I feel like just set the tone of that film beautifully, because I mean, for a comic book film, it kept you on edge. You were uneasy. You felt uneasy to see what the next thing was going to happen.
Yeah.
So, yeah, crazy.
So cool. I loved that rendition of him, and to win an Oscar, like I already stated, obviously within that time frame, and then at least until now, still, that is just by far the best performance that I think we're going to get for a long, long time. And like I said too earlier, all these Jokers are different. So, here he won an Oscar for that portrayal of the Joker. Not to say that, a different portrayal of the Joker can win another Oscar. I mean, there's different universes with different Jokers that they can easily play on to make a great movie. So
I don't know, not in our lifetime, I don't think. But
I didn't say our lifetime. I'm just being optimistic.
Yeah, you know what? Never say never. You're right. I am a firm believer in that regard. But yeah, man.
But who are we kidding? Nobody's going to do it. Heath Ledger's the best.
Exactly. I would like to die knowing that I saw the best interpretation of the Joker.
Wow, that's dark. That's very Joker of you.
Hey, man, if he went out like that, hey, that's how I want to go out. Let's go out on top, Ryan. Salute. Let's go.
Jumping out of an airplane without a parachute.
Wow.
That's the way I want to go.
Hella dark. Wow. God, you did to me? Jesus.
I'm telling you, if people know movies like I know them, they'll know what that's from. That's just a movie line. It didn't get dark.
Yeah. You want to know how I got these scars?
Let me just ask you something real quick, Mike. Why so serious?
Well, my father was a drinker and a fiend.
And I love how he changed the stories every single time, right?
Oh, so good. Like, that I mean, that was really cool, because obviously, if you're paying attention to the film, like, you pick up on that right away, and you're just like, this guy has no origin, because obviously I don't think it even matters. He's fucking crazy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, who even knows who he is?
Look how much entertainment we're getting, though. Like, we got like multiple like fake stories, or maybe one of them was real, who knows, but because they were different, man, that just drew me like right back in even further. I was like, oh man, like now maybe this one's real. Like this one's crazier than the first one. So like I love that.
Nicholson's, alias of Jack Napier prior to the accident. We have no idea what, obviously Heath Ledger's interpretation of the Joker was, and it didn't matter. That's what was so beautiful about it. You didn't need to know. The audience did not need to know, which was awesome how they set that up. Yeah, it was just a beautifully made movie, man. I mean, Christopher Nolan just freaking hit the jackpot and probably had a mental boner when he got to see the final cut of this movie, man. No, he might never win an actual Oscar for Best Director, but in my book, he goes down as one of the most acclimated, like the most. I mean, put it up next to James Cameron. To me, like, Chris Nolan is an incredible director, and obviously Hollywood has something against him at this point, because I don't have no idea why either Inception or The Dark Knight did not win Best Picture their respective years. It's absolute atrocity. It really is. It really is. Incredible filmmaker. We are very, very blessed to have him have him involved with the Comic-Ville franchise, which is awesome. So I am always so excited to see what comes next from him. Yeah. No. Well said, good sir, and I concur. Yeah, which, I mean, hey, man, I mean, like we were saying earlier, like, this interpretation of the Joker is obviously what's going to lead us to our next subject, but, obviously you want to talk about, chronological order here. So let's go ahead and let's talk about yours truly. You're coming fresh off a win off of Dallas Buyers Club, Jared Leto. Yeah. Give me your 2 cents about initially when you heard about his casting.
All right. So, I knew going in he was a good actor, but again, with the Joker,
He's a great actor.
He's a great actor. But, I knew going in that this was going to be a huge, huge, tough role to come right after Heath Ledger's performance. I mean, years later, but still now the next Joker. So that's a tough position to put any actor. I don't care what actor they would have put in there. That's going to be a fucking tough role to fill. Would you agree?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, you're literally at that point, how could you not be setting up the next person, up for failure? But obviously someone needs to do it because this is an iconic character. This needs to happen. Like the torch, the torch cannot be passed, but the character needs to live on. Yeah, just as much as it's going to be painful for us to see someone interpret, Wolverine at some point, this character needs to live on. We need to keep seeing more of them. It's just a great testament to that time, obviously, with the Dark Knight series, which is great. However, it needs to keep moving forward. Like, you can't just sit there and say, oh man, that was the greatest ever. We can't just fucking say, fuck it, guys. I guess let's call it a day. I think we're good.
That's a wrap.
That's a wrap. I think we nailed it.
But I will say, you know what? Round of applause for Mr. Jared Leto. Because and I've preached this to a lot of fucking people, man. What'd you say?
I said it wasn't terrible. It was not terrible.
Yeah.
Good.
Okay. And it wasn't good, but that's not all acting. That's on writing too. Yeah. Again, there was moments in this movie where I thought Jared Leto, he embodied the Joker just as much as Heath Ledger, just a totally different character, totally different writing, not as good writing, which was obvious once people actually watched the entire movie. But I truly feel he did his best with what he was given. And like I said, kudos, because this now, I feel like the next rendition of the Joker with Joaquin Phoenix, this is going to be so much more successful just in the fact that now this isn't the film leading after Heath Ledger. Now that we have that Gap movie and people have gotten the shock that Heath Ledger is no longer this character, we saw a shitty kind of performance from Jared Leto, according to Mike Michio. But I think it just really opened up the doors now for anybody to get back into this character, feel a little more comfortable about making it their own and seeing if they can give us something special. So in that regard, man, I say thank you to him for being that dummy for us.
The best correlation I can make here, it's like signing an all-star player and you sign him to a mega deal and it doesn't work out and that's it. You just buy out his contract and you move on and you just agree to, it didn't work out and that's it. Like, thank you for giving us your best, but that's literally what it was. I feel with, obviously how the DC universe was going, with film, obviously outside of the Dark Knight series. It was Suicide Squad in itself wasn't a absolute disaster of a movie as Batman vs Superman was, but it was not very well received.
No
standpoint. And I feel like, we're going to it's going to redeem itself, with James Gunn's, rendition for sure.
Yeah. So, the Suicide Squad.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. And I will definitely give that a second chance for sure. But, well,
thank God they didn't give us a full movie, huh?
Yeah, I know. Right. The thing is too, is that how much of this plays into, competing with Marvel, because Chris Nolan was very adamant about, he would only be available to do a trilogy and that would be it. He wanted to move on to other projects. So, DC had a good, maybe 5 years to, come up with some type of, backup plan. And, obviously they, tried their hardest with, Zack Snyder and the Man of Steel series and this and that. But, I mean, for me, for Suicide Squad, just to introduce the Joker with a bunch of other heroes, it just felt as much rush as Justice League was. So I don't know. For me, I mean, I know that just Suicide Squad is its own separate comic. I totally get that. However, it didn't have any iconic character prior to in another film to kind of like lead into it. So yeah.
What did you think about their choice in wardrobe and his just overall kind of visual appearance? Because, you know, I kind of enjoyed that, you know, tatted up, skinny, you know, kind of more scraggly look because it was different and they were trying to get away from what we've seen in the past, which that I feel like was a smart move to, again, make it their own. But I kind of liked that look. Did you mind that look?
Yeah. So, I mean, we've seen the gangster look. We've seen the psycho look, and now we're seeing the pimp version. So yeah, I mean, I didn't mind it. I mean, he looked like almost like a hip hop rapper version of the Joker. But anywho, yeah, I mean, not my favorite interpretation, but not at all like something I, you know, if it were on TV or whatever, I might give it a second look just because I've only seen the movie once, but I have no reason at this point to actually go back to it. I mean, you know this, man. You fucking know this. I love the Dark Knight series.
I know you do.
Good. It's classic, dude. Like, it's a masterpiece, in my opinion. So
no, I agree.
It's tough. Like, I mean, you compare it to that, you're just comparing, you know, like diamonds to fucking pirate booty or whatever, or pirate gold. Like, forget it.
Diamonds to turds.
Exactly. It's a piece of shit. I'm sorry. That's it. It's my brutal honesty. I'm sorry. I couldn't fucking stand it.
That's all right. Don't apologize. But if that's the case too, then I'm feeling pretty comfortable and kind of just moving on into our kind of finale segment if you're into it.
No, Ryan, I want to go right back to Jared Leto. He fucked up the role, and that's why Suicide Squad was terrible. No, I'm just it had nothing to do with that. Nothing to do with that.
I find out you have a strange obsession with Jared Leto, and you're like, yeah, man, you know, he grew up in the town of so-and-so. He's born this day. I'm just like, man, you got to fucking take it down a notch, bud.
You know, I've been actually like it's been on my queue to actually start, actually watch Dallas Buyers Club. I've always wanted to watch that movie, and I have not done it yet. So I need to watch it because, I mean, obviously he was awesome in that. But, you know, where I remember him fondly was, you remember Panic Room with Jodie Foster?
Of course, yeah.
Yeah, I remember him playing, you know, the lead villain in that, and he was pretty good.
He was.
I mean, it wasn't a horrible movie by any means, but it was pretty entertaining. So
yeah, it was a good thriller movie. I liked that movie.
Yeah, it was good. So, you know, I mean, kudos to him for giving it, like you were saying earlier, he gave it a good college try, which is as good as anybody could do, right? So, kudos to you, Jarrett.
I love your deep-rooted hatred for Jared Leto.
It's not his. I don't hate him. It's more about DC. If you've been listening to our podcast, we're upset with DC. They deserve better. What the fuck are you doing over there? Wake up.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, Aquaman was a little bit better. Not amazing. Wonder Woman was really, really good. Shazam was absolutely surprising. I'm just get your fucking iconic characters right. Get fucking Batman and Superman right. They deserve better.
And Swamp Thing.
And fuck. You had to bring up Swamp Thing. God. Yeah. Get Swamp Thing right, dude. Like, that show is obviously showing that he makes a great horror character and might, you know, obviously he's an anti-hero, but yeah, if you can do him right, that'd be awesome to see.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, let's move right along here. We're going to be now talking about what's coming to theaters October 4th, 2019, this year. So not very long. This movie was actually... Oh, God, there it is. There's the laugh.
Sorry.
No, that's okay. I've heard that a few times, and it will haunt me tonight, so I appreciate it.
I can do that all day. I don't think our listeners would want to hear that, but that's okay.
They just kind of have to put up with it, I think. So
yeah, I don't think they have a choice. So
they can be mad at you individually.
It's just fun to fucking do, okay?
Yeah.
Sorry.
If you're annoyed, just write something on Twitter about it, and we'll read it on our next podcast. It'll be funny.
Yeah. Exactly.
It's a big hat. It's funny.
It's funny. It's a big hat. Ferguson. Suck it, Trebek.
I'll give you a finger, Trebek.
Yeah.
I don't know how we got there. All right, so we got the Joker.
Mother likes it.
I'll take famous titties for 400, sir. That's titles. Damn.
I'll take 8 tit for 200. That's appetit dojanaire.
Words that end in hamburger.
What's the focus?
I think that our soundtrack is just like, yeah.
Whenever I know we derailed, I will be busting that out.
Yeah, you just got to sing it over and over again just to get focused back in. Hone yourself.
Hone it in. Bring it in.
Bring it in.
Bring it together. Center it.
And take some deep breaths.
I
like to do some Lamaze breathing. You know what I mean?
Like Peter Griffin when he injures his knee in Family Guy.
Just repeated.
Yeah, over and over again.
All right.
Yeah, dude, get into it. Let's go. Todd Phillips. What's he known for?
Todd Phillips. All right. He is not only our director, he's also a writer. Co-writing is Scott Silver. Todd Phillips, if you look him up, actually, it's so funny because he's one of the few people when I see a picture of Todd Phillips, I know who he is. And I can't say that about a lot, but this is the guy that brought you Old School, all the Hangovers. He was actually in Hangover. He was the guy in the elevator that I think had some, he was going down on some chick and all of a sudden they walked in. And, oh no, that was Old School. Was that Old School?
Yep.
Yeah. And he has the big stash, right? The black stash. No, but I mean, he's done
the 70s porn stash.
Yeah, I mean, he did Limitless. He did War Dogs. A Star Is Born. He was a producer in that. Obviously, a huge movie that's done really well for itself. I mean, he's done a ton of stuff. So,
he did Road Trip. Remember that when Tom Green was relevant? Shit.
I fucking loved Road Trip, dude.
Yeah, damn, taking me back.
Yeah,
so all the way back 19 years. Jesus,
but hey, he's been doing it a long time, right? And it's going to be interesting to see. There's a lot of comedies on that board. So for him to, and some more serious roles, but for him now to take it into this level of a psychopathic, killer and the rise to that. I mean, this is going to be a movie for anybody who doesn't know anything about this movie. This is going to be the birth of the Joker. This is going to be his origin to its fullest. This is going to be a complete breakdown from start to finish, seeing a normal man get worn down by humanity to slowly become the character that we know, the Joker. And it's going to be
one bad day,
man. I mean, it's going to be, I'm so pumped for this movie. I've gotten more excited now that we found out just a few days ago, earlier in the week, that this is going to be rated R.
Yeah. Rated R for boobies. No,
you said boobies.
You said boobies. I'm sorry, but yeah, I'm super thrilled that it's rated R because I mean, what have we had that's been rated R as far as comic book films? Logan and Deadpool, right? That's it.
Yeah, you can classify Watchmen too.
Oh, dude, yes, you're right. What about V for Vendetta? Was that rated R? I think it might have been.
Oh, it had to be, dude. The way he wielded those knives and just slashed throats.
Yeah, that was another great movie. But yeah, dude, super psyched. Like this is like one of the first, right, for DC though.
Yeah, I mean the thing is they've been giving us this, TVMA content on the DC Universe network. So within DC, they have been releasing, more brutal content than definitely Marvel. I mean, Marvel has Logan, but that's it. And DC has multiple TV shows out there that are TVMA that have been getting, away with this type of killings and, radical everything, which takes it to that next level. But that's, dude, I'm honestly, again, I will preach
your tits.
show me your tits. No, Mike,
sorry.
I will preach this forever. If you give me a rated R film, and that means you can give me a more quote unquote accurate interpretation of a character, because you're not holding back any punches, then you're going to get the best movie you could possibly get, because that's going to bring that more realistic view into things. The reason why Logan was so much fun wasn't just because we got to see Hugh Jackman as an older fucking Wolverine. It was the fact that
I'm just kidding.
oh my God, maybe for some, big.
You're right. Go for it.
But the fact that he's slashing people, man, I mean, a mutant versus a human, it's a no-brainer. It's going to be a brutal killing. It's going to be just ruthless, and that's what they showed us. And that's exactly what it would be like for us in real life. So
for you Marvel versus Capcom fans, Berserker Barrage. Like, that was literally what we got in that movie, which was fucking sick.
Sick,
man.
man.
So dope.
So
like, that is Wolverine. Like, that was our first honest interpretation of Wolverine, seeing that brutality.
Absolutely. Sad that it was his last one.
I know. So depressing.
All right. Well, hey, I want to.
There's still hope. Ryan Reynolds is working really hard, trying to convince him to get into a team up movie with him and Deadpool. So we'll see. We'll see if it happens.
They are the closest of friends.
They are, right? Like, how could you not do this? Like, it just seems so perfect.
Yeah. I mean, they should even just pay for it themselves if the networks wouldn't agree to it.
Yeah. If not, make a fucking fan film. I don't care. Just do it.
Oh, fan film would be awesome.
Yeah.
All right. I want to jump into this movie trailer, Mike.
Wait a second, though. Joaquin Phoenix gets casted. Your thoughts? Go.
Okay. It's going to be actually very similar thoughts to what I thought about Heath Ledger. I didn't have confidence when I first found out about Joaquin Phoenix because, I just didn't see him. I haven't seen him in something like this before. I mean, yeah, he's played the bad guy before. He's played a killer before. But this being the Joker, like we've stated earlier in the podcast, is a whole nother ball game. And if you're going to be successful, you got to, again, embody this character. And for whatever reason, maybe I don't even have a good reason for it. I just thought of Joaquin Phoenix as somebody who wasn't going to go that extra step to become who we wanted him to be. And just in the trailer alone, I got to say, he proved me way, way wrong. Yeah.
He definitely, there's definitely some layers to unpeel here in this trailer. I mean, yeah, his first go at it from what we see in this trailer, he definitely looks like he lost himself. I don't know as much as obviously Heath Ledger. I mean, we'll know after we see the film, but hopefully, obviously, yeah. This is going to be, for me, like seeing this trailer. I love this trailer just due to the fact that I love when they take like a serious song or just a down to heart, like down to earth song, and they mix it with like disturbing imagery. It's pretty awesome. Yeah.
No, I do love that too. And the thing I like to think about now, because I was so pumped when I found out that it was rated R. I know Todd Phillips was actually very much gunning for that rating. I mean, what he has filmed, he thought was appropriate for a rated R movie anyway. So so when Warner Brothers agreed to it, he was obviously excited because that's the movie he wanted to give everybody. The thing that I'm really, really excited for too, though, is it's not only the action sequences we're going to get, it's going to be like just the psycho part of the Joker that's going to be a little more sadistic and like just in your face than we would have gotten in a PG-13 movie.
Well, here's the thing. Like what we saw in Dark Knight was obviously someone who already had snapped and became evil. We're going to see the snap. We're going to see someone who was actually a good person who literally, takes that transformation, whether it be in one day or whatever they plan it out in the film. There's going to be a series of events that are going to happen, and it's going to grab us all, as far as the audience goes. And we're going to be very empathetic to what obviously, Arthur Fleck is going through before his transformation, goes to the Joker. And it's going to be very relatable. I mean, I feel like what's really neat is that, when you play with more of the, the realistic aspects of what people actually struggle with, today with mental illnesses and disorder, it's no joke, but, there's definitely something to play with here with this character, because obviously he is someone that is mentally unstable.
Yeah, totally. And you see that, just like I said in the trailer. I mean, the cool thing is, and Mike, actually, you said it, so I definitely don't want to steal any credit for what I'm about to say, but the best part about what we're going to see in the trailer is there's nothing in the trailer that looks to be rated R.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
for me, from when you said that to me, that changed everything in my brain. And that just got me so much more pumped because they're doing the classic now, new kind of way of doing trailers, giving us a good amount of imagery and leaving kind of the storyline alone to where it's leaving everything open. Everything's on the table. We don't know where the fuck this story's going to go. We know who it is. We know there's a breaking point. That's it. We don't know anything in between. And I fucking love that, man. I'm so pumped that they started doing that more often with these movies just to get you hyped, but not give anything away. I think they did an excellent job with that part of it.
For us as fans, we are so accustomed to, we anticipate, we know what's going to happen. We already know the origin of these characters. How can you surprise us at this point? How can you keep it fresh? And from what you see in this trailer, there's nothing that is super graphic here. Obviously, then, seeing him, obviously he's, he gets, he does some contorted poses or whatever, and he looks emaciated, and he obviously, loses himself at some point. But because of that, how this trailer is mixed with the, with that soundtrack of, I think it's Jimmy Durante's song, but when you hear that music, it makes you feel like you're comforted, but yet you're also disturbed. And I love that. I think that's like an amazing setup for, just the imagery of going into a film, which is really, really cool. I mean, obviously I'm also opposed to seeing too much in the trailer. So I don't feel like I did see too much in this trailer, which is cool. So I hope that, if they're going to do another trailer for like Comic-Con or whatever, I hope they focus, maybe hone in on maybe like one scene where it's just like how we kind of got that It trailer where we just saw one scene breakdown and that's it, so that we don't see any I don't want to see too much more because I just don't want to piece together everything at this point.
Yeah, I don't want any spoilers. I don't want to be oversaturated with anything now with this movie. I am ready to just go into it full-fledged.
Yeah, absolutely. So,
all right, Dad, can we watch the trailer now?
All right, son. Fire it up.
You're the coolest, Dad.
I'll load up the VCR, buddy.
The VCR. Oh, my God. You're aging us, bud.
Yep. Hey, it could be a Betamax player. Whatever.
Yeah, that's true. Then we'd really be aging us. All right. Tell me when you're ready, my friend.
Let's go. 3, 2, 1, go.
All right.
Does it help to have someone to talk to?
Of course it helps to have someone to talk to. I'm having you, buddy. You're helping me.
Yeah, I'm a good source of therapy.
My mother
is my best friend. I love my mother.
To smile.
Yep.
And put on a happy
Even
face.
his movements already are very just like, kind of creepy and eerie.
Me I had a purpose.
Yeah. This dramatic weight loss here is just obviously shows that he's definitely lost himself to some degree.
Pure dedication, bro.
Yeah.
Little bastard kids.
I love the clown portrayal aspect. We have not seen that yet.
No, we have not.
Or is it getting crazier out there?
Yes.
God.
Good song.
Great song. Just like you said. Great call.
Check it out. It's Domino from Deadpool 2.
Yeah. I bet she doesn't have the same kind of luck.
Yeah. I think she's going to play the love interest.
That would make sense.
We'll see.
That laugh, man.
The way he holds his grin and then just shudders in disgust.
I know. Breakdown on the train, just starts laughing hysterically.
Yep. Running through the tunnel. I love that.
Yeah. But again, this scene would be nothing without that music.
What kind of
True.
would do something that cold-blooded? Someone who hides behind a mask.
That's very interesting. Someone who hides behind a mask. Which
right?
We can talk about a little bit coming up.
Oh, get your hands out of that kid's mouth.
Fuck it, I'm going to start smoking cigarettes.
I'm going to start putting my hand in your mouth.
It's a comedy.
I'm going to be like, smile, Mike.
I used to think my life was a tragedy, and now it's a comedy. That's my life motto. Nothing is so serious that you can't laugh at it.
I love him just like stomping down the steps.
Yeah. Great screen.
Oh, gosh. October, baby.
Can't come soon enough.
All right. So I got to get these off before I forget. There's 2 scenes in that trailer that totally remind me of Heath Ledger's performance. And one of them is when he's in the jail cell and he extends his arms and he's looking back in the 3-way mirror. Or the 2-way mirror, I'm sorry.
Mm-hmm.
And that already looks like Heath Ledger when he was in the jail cell. And then just at the very end, when he's going down those steps and he's doing like those little dance movement, it was like a mix between Heath Ledger and Ellen entering stage. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Hey, I think you appreciate that. That was pretty good.
Thanks.
I like that. That was creative. Yeah.
Good imagery.
No, that's good. Ellen as the Joker. She'd be a good fucking Joker. That'd be twisted.
Hey, there is a rendition of the Joker where she plays Martha Wayne. So he plays Martha Wayne. So Ellen could play Martha Wayne.
Fuck yeah, she could. That'd be dope.
Yeah, that'd be sweet. She was Dory and then Martha Wayne. What a fucking career.
Good idea, man. That's a good one. I like that. Yeah, we'll see if we can pry her away from her soap talk.
Yeah, and I'm being serious, people. You heard it here first. If Ellen ever gets casted as Martha Wayne as a rendition of the Joker, you know it came right here.
Yeah. What are the odds on that?
Pretty much hitting the lotto, my friend. I think it's
maybe. I don't know.
Astronomical to even think about. But all right, but dude, come on, dive into that trailer. What more did you like about it? I mean, what did you think about the hands in the mouth? He's not a dentist for little children, so what did you think about it?
Yeah, man, this is someone that is struggling at life. This is getting deep. Like, it seems like I don't know if his mother is ill or if he's just a caretaker at this point, but there's some very relatable things here that anyone could relate to, and it's going to be very, very intriguing to see how it all rolls out, because I feel like maybe a third of this film is going to be the backstory of obviously Arthur Fleck, and then you're going to see here's this guy that's like just so upbeat and always positive and always looking on the bright side of life, but then he's just going to get hit after hit after hit, and whatever that may be, like, that's going to just be the cataclysm of just, that's it. That's his snapping point. And when that happens, at that point, however they cut the film or whatever they do with, whatever song they play or whatever, like, we're going to have a moment where you're just going to, it's going to be spine tingling, because that's going to be the birth of the Joker, which is awesome.
Oh, I can't wait for that moment. That's going to be amazing. So I got a theory for you. You ready to hear this?
Do it.
All right. And I only thought of this, again, things that just come up, like this whole rated R scenario now changed my mindset on certain scenes in that trailer. So one of them being his mother, who I think is his mother, but check this spin out and how much more creepy this would be, Mike. Mm-hmm. What if it's his mother, but she has Alzheimer's and thinks that he is her husband? And that's why they're dancing. And that's why they are as intimate in those scenes, because yes, that is his mom, but she thinks of him as her old husband because she's not mentally there.
Yeah, that would be
creepy, right?
Be very, very creepy. I mean, at this point, you're playing with, I don't want to say, Texas Chainsaw Massacre level here, but yeah, with the whole incest stuff. But yeah, I mean, at that point,
I'm not saying there's any physical relationship. It's all emotional, but sure. I think he plays into it in a very creepy way where he doesn't mind being that role. And again, this is just a theory, but if they were going to put a spin on it that's just really dark, where you can take it into a darker mindset that's more rated R into PG-13, that would be a way to do it, to be where you would just feel just kind of, you wouldn't feel great watching those scenes. You know what I mean?
I mean, it could be that. It could be, she's suffering from Alzheimer's. Obviously, there's, the level of that disease, developing, and obviously, becoming almost like an infant and not learning how to take care of yourself. Because, I mean, obviously he's showering her in that scene, right? So, like, I mean, at that point, what exactly is that relationship? It's not really father and son and mother at that point. That's a caretaker.
Yeah, it's gonna be.
That's how it looks to me. But she doesn't look like she's someone that is like terminal in that movie. So it kind of almost makes you feel like her mind is also slipping as well, which is foreshadowing his mind that's about to slip as well. So
yeah, I mean, I think part of his breaking point might just be the passing of his mother, or something having to do with his mother, as like almost like a final snap. I mean, or at least a way to bring it to a head, later on in the film.
Yeah,
so,
I believe you. I mean, I don't know if you mentioned it or if I was talking to someone else, but like,
if it's good, it was probably me.
Yeah, I think it was. I'm going to give credit to you. It's
Thank
all
you.
Ryan. Everyone, whatever comes out of my mouth right now is definitely because Ryan told me earlier. I feel like we're like conjoined twins at this point. We're talking all day, every day, which is fantastic.
Yeah.
But anywho, yeah. What was I talking about? Yeah, I feel like it's. I don't know. Like we'll have to see, but I mean, what's your gut say about it?
About just like the whole movie in general?
Yeah, I mean, let's just put it this way. If you hadn't seen this trailer and you just went up October 4th to go see this movie, what would be your feelings?
Oh, God. I mean, I feel
like feeling changed our feelings.
Yeah, because the same feelings I would have for this movie would be the same that I had about just Joaquin Phoenix as an actor. Again, I would go in very hesitant because, again, as much as Jared Leto's performance was needed to, again, get past that barrier to open the door for the Joker to be played again, it wasn't a great performance. And so, after that, having complete faith now in another adaptation of the Joker, I'd go in just kind of hesitant, tippy-toeing around, but obviously always eager and wanting to see a great freaking DC movie, and especially a movie about a villain. So I would go in hesitant, but I would also go in very excited because, even if I claim that I'm not, I am. All these movies get me pumped up and excited. I love them all, but
which is awesome because I mean the best benefit of this movie is that this movie is absolutely in its own universe, which is a great starting point for, I mean, what I feel is almost going to be the parallel version of, we had the Dark Knight, trilogy. This could totally be its own Joker trilogy.
Oh yeah, because Arthur Fleck is not Heath Ledger's character. It was not Jack Nicholson's character. It is a standalone Joker as of right now. This is our first time seeing this particular Joker. Yeah,
which is very refreshing. Like, we don't have to worry. Like DC did itself a favor because now we don't have to worry about. I mean, at the time when they actually started production of this film, in pre-production, that they actually still had the Jared Leto Joker, existing in the current DC, universe timeline. So
bad move.
Yeah, well, I mean, whatever. I mean, you look at it as go, okay, fine. If you're going to have that version and keep making those movies, because obviously Wonder Woman was a success, like that timeline or whatever that universe is set up, we are going to go off now and use the same character, or a different character in the same universe, but we're going to change the universe and use the same character. Here we go. We're going to set up its origin, and we're just going to see how this thing goes, which I feel is a fresh approach for any studio that has to deal with, these iconic characters. And if the first round doesn't go well, like they can totally, start over, which is awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, DC had to find some creative solution to this, and I feel like this is the start of that, and I'm very excited to see where it can go.
Yeah, and I love getting a movie about just the Joker. I mean, you're not going to see any Batman. It's rumored that you won't see any superheroes. You will see the Wayne family, so they're going to bring in.
And what do you think about that? What do you think about the Wayne family in that movie? I mean, do you think that the involvement of, obviously Thomas Wayne looks like he's in that movie. Like that, at that point, like he's going to develop some type of hatred toward the Wayne family. Like, what do you feel about that? You feel like how much you feel that they're going to like delve into that? I mean, at this point, Do you think we're going to see Bruce? I think we see a boy in that trailer, but I don't know if that's Bruce per se.
I believe that is Bruce, and that's the one where he sticks his hands in the kid's mouth and forces a smile on him, right?
Which is crazy. That's almost more traumatic than, I mean, obviously, I don't know if they're going to lead into at the end of that movie if he's going to kill the Waynes or whatever. But if he does, wow, that's even a more traumatic touch to it. Like he actually has this interaction with the kid even prior to it. So
yeah, it'll be interesting because at the same point too, I was trying to think of like scenarios again of how the Waynes and the Joker can now meet up in this movie. And the Waynes obviously are always going to be the successful family. They already in this movie are a very established family. They've already become successful. So, I can easily see maybe like buying out the building that the Joker and his mother live in and is forcing them to vacate. I could see maybe construction happening at a building next door, but something construction wise happens and it damages or destroys their building. I mean, any of these situations, scenarios.
Or rent control gets them pushed out or whatever. I don't know.
Exactly. And that can start a hatred because then she's out on the street. She doesn't have the medical attention. She doesn't have in-home care. She doesn't have any support, which could drive him over the edge too. So. Just put that on a timer. Every 5 minutes, I want to hear the Joker laugh just to keep me into it. Just gets me jacked up like a shot of espresso.
Yes, let's go.
Let's fucking do it. All right. So, I thought the trailer, like it said itself, it definitely sold me. The big point I wanted to make also, and I know this is something that we talk about, Mike, every single time we bring up this trailer, is the score in this actual trailer. It is so beautifully shot. Every time I see it, I've seen this now a dozen times, and every time I see it, it just is so beautifully done that I just have to reminisce about it, at least to somebody, maybe somebody with fresh eyes who hasn't seen it. And then I love to talk about it just because it's so pleasant on the eyes. It's a dark undertoning, really just easy looking shot. That's just like kind of unique and different from what we've seen in the past, and definitely different from what we've seen in DC Batman movies. So, yeah, it's just wonderful. Love it.
And, you're mentioning the tone of the film. I recently read online that they were making a lot of parallels to, the visual style of this film kind of mimics the Scorsese films, I believe, Taxi Driver and Raging Bull.
Mm-hmm.
Ironically enough, Robert De Niro's in this movie, and you see him in that trailer. I mean, they don't just pull, an A-list actor for no reason. He's going to have some type of huge impact on the transition of, this character or some, whatever the involvement is he has in this film. So I am definitely intrigued. It seems like he plays some type of like late night, TV hostman, like a Johnny Carson or whatever. And
yeah.
Like that scene where you see, oh my God, I almost said Heath Ledger. When you see Joaquin Phoenix backstage behind the curtain, that scene looks like it's going to be, pretty intense because it's going to be almost like it's a, it might even be like an introduction to his first interpretation of the Joker versus Arthur Fleck, which could be really, really cool because it looked like he was backstage in that trailer where he was like getting prepped and whatever and like getting, putting his makeup on and everything before he went on stage.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, for him, he's a failed comedian, right? So like we were discussing earlier, like I feel like this is really the whole plot line is really taking from the, the Killing Joke novel. And I believe you recently read, some about it. So, I mean, what's your overall take? Like, you feel like it's going to, gravitate toward it a lot?
Yeah, I mean, for some of it, for sure. I mean, within that novel, you see the Joker where it starts out as actually the Joker in jail. Batman goes to visit the Joker to find out some information. You find out that that's not the Joker. Batman figures it out pretty fucking quick. It's just a security guard in makeup, and the Joker escaped. And then, skipping ahead, he goes to a carnival. He's looking for real estate to buy because he's trying to find his new lair. And then boom, it's a cut scene right in the comic of him before the Joker. And it shows him as a failed comedian. It shows him as a failed father, a failed husband, somebody who's just already very depressed, very negative about themselves, doesn't think they're good enough for anything that he has. and you can already see that breakdown of character just within the flashbacks, which is awesome. Because like you said, the correlation between the two now, from even the trailer and that, you can see him, in a stand-up, comedian, place in that trailer where he might get up there and try stand-up and get booed and laughed at or whatever, just to, feed that fire. And that's exactly what the Killing Joke was. And they kept doing that. It was throughout the novel. It was just repeatedly going back to past scenes before he was Joker and showing how he became this person. So in that regard, yeah, they're very, very similar. Obviously there's a lot of Hollywood involved in comparison to the comic, but within the point of just showing the Bat character, yeah, very, very similar. So I was happy to see that because it was a great novel.
So in the Killing Joke, I mean, you can answer me in just a bit. What I really like about what we're seeing with this interpretation, and I wonder if it is actually in the Killing Joke, is obviously I think, yeah, they set up, yeah, he was a failed comedian and whatnot, but this is the first time I feel like we've ever seen him as a clown prior to becoming the Joker, which is really, really cool to see. Because you were mentioning in, I don't know, it might be a prior podcast that we were just mentioning earlier, but who was his original sidekick?
Oh my God, Gaggisworthy.
Yeah, and that imagery, what you were describing, what that character looked like, it kind of looks a little bit like what we see in that trailer as far as the clown version of the Joker.
I don't feel comfortable with you just passing over Gagsworthy's name like that and not taking full, just let it sink in that is a character's fucking name in the DC universe.
Yeah, he's Gagsworthy. Jesus Christ.
Oh my God.
That's
and
awesome.
His outfit looks like a checkerboard, the black and white checkers, 3 little puff balls on his chest where the buttons would be. And then he literally has that doily around the neck, right? The little wavy clown thing around the neck. And then just like almost an Olaf frozen carrot nose that just sticks out with a Mo from Three Stooges haircut, just bowl cut. I mean, it's unbelievable.
That's awesome.
I mean, Danny DeVito would play the perfect Gagsworthy sidekick. Let's get him involved.
Oh my God. Stop.
I know. It excited you.
That might be too much. Oh man. I mean, Batman Returns. I mean, for me, that was the pinnacle of the Tim Burton. I mean, obviously, he only made 2 films, but definitely, I much prefer Batman Returns. That was an incredible film.
My second child, be he man or woman, will be Gagsworthy Kerrigan. Rolls
That's
off the
right.
tongue, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Have
God.
mercy on his soul.
Horrible character.
Horrible name.
Horrible name.
Right? Horrible name.
Horrible. I don't know how they got away with it. It's probably why we don't see him ever. So
Mm-hmm. He's like, you thought Robin was bad. Oh man.
yeah, you thought Robin was bad? Check me out, man. So I believe your question was going to be whether or not in the Killing Joke that they portrayed him as an actual clown, correct?
Yes.
So from what I read, and I didn't finish it, but I did get through a majority of it, they do not. He's a very much just a failed comedian. You don't see him really dressed up at all as a clown. I mean, a clown until his transformation actually happens.
Cool. I mean, with that, I mean, so what's neat about this is that with this interpretation is that, with any other interpretation we've seen, there's been no correlation as to why the hell would he use like clown makeup or try to, look like a jester or some type of, clown. It doesn't make sense. Like this makes sense because obviously this connects to the origin, which is interesting. I mean, the Joker's origin itself in the early comics, I mean, wasn't fully, I've done a little bit of research, wasn't fully established until maybe, I think it was actually the Killing Joke that actually established more of the origin of that character because he didn't really have an actual alias at the time, prior to becoming the Joker. So,
yeah. And the cool thing about the Killing Joke is they pulled obviously a lot of the backstory for this movie within the Joker, but it was also confirmed that Jared Leto, when he was researching, how to portray this character best, actually referred back to the Killing Joke as well for a little of assistance in how he wanted to actually do the Joker. So within that novel, man, that novel is actually, I mean, that novel's been around for a very long time. There's been a couple of redos of that one. I think the latest one was in 2016. But yeah, I mean, a couple of big time actors following that novel.
That was the animated film, right? Like,
correct.
I think actually Mark Hamill and what's his face, Conroy teamed up to be in that. So I actually want to check that out.
Yeah,
it actually at this point makes it even more relevant to watch that.
Yeah, so it really does.
Cool, good shit.
Yeah, man. Well, do you have anything else about the Joker that we want to discuss other than it looks like a fucking terrific movie? We'll probably get another trailer out of it, and then hopefully they just go for it.
I mean, let's just do this real quick. In all the interpretations that we've seen, in all the different scenes that we've seen, what scene actually stands out the most to you?
In all the versions.
Okay, so how about this? Let's go step by step. Let's do
day by day.
Day by day. Step by step. Good show. TJF. Miss those days.
Me too.
Programming. So I mean, Jack Nicholson. What was your favorite part of his interpretation?
Oh man, that's a tough one. I would say when he finally developed the transformation serum to get people to actually be clowns themselves.
Okay.
Do you remember that scene where they put a mask on him and then they take the mask off? That was that for me. That was the most iconic part because that was the most crazy thing that I felt like he did in that movie. It was just ruthlessly just built his own little psycho army, which that for me was extremely memorable. Loved it.
Yeah.
How about you?
So from that movie, obviously there's the iconic parade down Times Square, I believe, or down Gotham.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry, Gotham. When you're obviously hearing the at the time the Prince song that was written for the film, and just seeing him having so much fun in that role was really, really awesome to see.
Mm-hmm.
But outside of that scene, I feel like his what I really, really enjoyed was, and I honestly forget the little gritty details here, but when he's talking to his, I believe whoever it is, his wife or his ex or whatever it may be, whatever his past lover was, there's something disturbing that he does with one of the ceramic masks that I forget, and I don't know what it was. It bothered me as a kid, and it irked me. So it just kind of scared me a little bit. Do you remember exactly what happened in that scene?
I don't. I'm trying to think of it, and now I'm honestly probably when we get finished up with this, I probably will.
Yeah, he was I don't know if he was wearing a ceramic baby mask like he would see on a ceramic doll, or his wife was, but maybe that's what he was doing. He was trying to transition her, like you were saying that he had developed that
those scenes were crazy, man.
I think that's what he was doing, and that was very eerie. And for me as a kid, I mean, my God, when I saw that movie, I was probably only
3 or 4
years old. Yeah, 5 years
89,
old.
man.
If that. So yeah, it was eerie, it was creepy, and it creeped me out.
Yeah.
But outside of that, his iconic smile, the Nicholson smile, I mean, the
Nicholson swagger.
The swagger, to this day, I mean, he'll always be the Joker, but I mean, that was honestly my favorite, I mean, it's not a favorite part. I just really enjoyed his whole rendition of the character.
Me too. I can't even I'm going to have a really hard time if we're going to go down the list and do a Heath Ledger favorite.
Sorry, honestly, it wasn't a fair question. I'm sorry.
I mean, this is going to be very difficult. I don't know if I could just pick one. I honestly don't. I mean, there's just so many.
Well, pick something that's not maybe your favorite, maybe something that's most memorable.
Well, if you have one on the top of your head, you go first. I need some time.
All right. You need some time? All right. So I think because we discussed this earlier, but for me, the character itself and Heath's portrayal was this interpretation of the Joker was very disturbing. It was it was almost uneasy at times to look at him on camera because you were seeing someone that was obviously portraying someone that's psychotic. And when at this one point in the film when obviously he's got the big money pile and he's ready to set it and burn it and everything, and he looks to one of the other drug lords or whatever, and he's telling him, why are you going to burn this money? And obviously he goes into the whole rant about money, it doesn't mean anything, who gives a fuck, whatever, everything burns, whatever, right? And then the most disturbing line he says, that just made it feel like, wow, like this is such a dark version of the Joker that we had never seen before, was when he said, how about we cut you up into little bits and feed you to your dogs, and then we'll really see how loyal a dog really is. And I was just like, holy shit, like that is some dark ass material right there. I mean, you didn't even need to like see anything follow up from that, but like the visualization of what he just said was dark enough, which was awesome, which is really, really cool. And I hope we get a lot more of that in, since it's rated R, in the, the Joaquin Phoenix Joker film, for sure.
Yeah, that's a great scene, man. I concur. I mean, that's not mine 100%, but I mean, with that scene for me is great. It makes me fearful.
It's just a scene that stands out because it seems like they really, with the writing of the character in that film, they were trying to push the bounds, and that was awesome. Like, I don't think Nicholson's character would ever have said that.
Yeah, and it made him more fearful, man. I mean, it made me, when I was watching that, I was just like, holy shit. Mm-hmm. like you said, the imagery of it, of your own thought of just like, wow, okay.
Yeah, I mean, if you actually sit there and think about it, like, think about that. Like, you're being fed to your own dog, and you actually question whether or not, would your dog actually fucking eat you?
Oh, I'd be delicious. My dog would chew me up.
That's not the question though. Like that's what's terrifying about it. It's fucking horrifying.
It is.
Like, you don't know. Like, you actually can hesitate on that and go, I hope not. But I mean, if they see me getting chopped up in little bits, hopefully they don't eat me. But maybe if it's behind the counter and they don't know, it's a different story. So yeah, it's fucking creepy. It's fucking eerie as fuck.
All right, I got mine. You ready?
Yeah.
All right. So this is not like what I would call a popular scene by any means, but this is just a personal favorite of mine, and it's really, really small, but I think it says a lot about the character, just like yours did. It's when he's being pursued by Batman on the bike, and he now, he gets flipped in that huge truck, and he gets out and he's spray shooting like he has like a Tommy gun, and he's telling Batman, he's like, hit me. I want you to hit me. I want you to hit me. Hit me. I want you to hit me. And he keeps repeating it. And then he screams and he gets raspy. He's like, hit me. Like, he's testing Batman and what he can and won't do. And he knows the one thing Batman will just never, never do and break his code of conduct is kill somebody. And he really likes to fuck with him mentally and test his limits. And he knew that he was going to get charged and he wasn't going to get hit.
Yeah, and which is why he's such an amazing character, because it's not about his motive as much as it is about breaking Batman.
Yep.
Like tearing him down at his core and everything that he stands for. Like, that is what's so cool about the Joker.
Which is really the Joker's job for everyone. He wants to turn everybody into what he sees and what he believes. I mean, in every rendition, he's looking for followers to wear the Joker masks and, all that stuff.
He's trying to make life a comedy. And in that, it is very dark. Like, it's in a very dark sense.
Yeah, well, chaos is comedy in his world.
Exactly. Like, introduce a little anarchy and you've literally rattled the whole establishment. Like, that's it.
Oh my God. I'm so pumped to hear what your favorite scene of Jared Leto was.
Oh,
you did this to yourself.
Oh man. That's the thing. At this point, it's even hard to even remember. But
what about, can I give you some ones that I liked that maybe would trigger some?
So here's the biggest thing I liked about his performance. It opened the door for me wanting to see more between his relationship with Harley Quinn. Okay?
Yep, that was mine. That's exactly what I was going to say.
Because there is another storyline to tell that this is obviously the closest thing Joker has to a loved one is Harley. I mean, are we going to see that in a film that's more, obviously it's going to go over more in detail about that. That's yet to be seen, but that was probably my favorite thing, was just seeing those two characters kind of working together and being just, obviously just feeding off of their psychoticness, which is just awesome.
Yeah, that's pretty much the same with mine. Same with mine, but mine was actually when he was in Arkham, and remember, she was his doctor. So we got to see the Joker very much as the Joker, but he was, trying to be helped by Harley Quinn.
Hello, Miss Lady.
Hello. And who's this gentleman sitting right behind you? Hello, Miss Lady.
Oh, Miss Lady.
Hey, we're going to be interviewing as a team. We're here to fuck shit up.
Yeah. Is it Pam or Panned?
I think I can help you with this whole Pan dilemma.
Yeah. Good movie. Step Brothers. Go see it. Starring
Go
Will
see it.
Ferrell and John C. Reilly. If you haven't seen it, you're a fucking idiot.
Throwback Thursday coming to you live.
All right.
All right. So, yeah. So favorite Jared Leto for me is just the flashback scenes when he was in the Arkham prison, and you could see him being already super manipulative and gaining, having Harley Quinn gain his trust, and you can see that relationship now blossoming before she even snapped and took that role of Harley Quinn and that we know, which was really, really cool to see. Again, his intelligence and turning somebody as smart as somebody who was a doctor into his way of thinking and becoming who she is. Thought that part was pretty cool.
Which is awesome because, I'm going to give you some credit here. The best thing about Suicide Squad was Harley Quinn. Like, Margot Robbie's interpretation of that character was spot on. And I feel from that, everyone has, obviously fans have speaked out or spoken up that we want to see more of her in that role. And we are going to get that, right? Like, there is some project that's ongoing right now. I forget.
Yeah,
the name
so
of it.
we're going to see her in Birds of Prey.
Birds of Prey. Okay. Sweet.
And she's been now
Awesome.
confirmed on the new Suicide Squad, the Suicide Squad. She will be in that as well.
Okay. Is she the only existing character from the original film? Or is it
No.
also Boomerang too, or whatever?
Well, yeah, and we're going to see, actually, we're going to have a couple of the characters back. It was funny because originally I thought it was going to be a complete redo. I thought that was the entire point of it. But no, James Gunn decided to keep around a few different actors that was in the first one. And I'm trying to...
It is or isn't going to have Joker?
So it's, that I don't know. I don't think it will. I don't think it's going to have Joker.
Oh, bummer.
Yeah,
All right.
I mean, remember though, this Suicide Squad is 2021, so we got a little while. So who knows?
Okay. All right.
Okay.
Okay. All right. I'll give
But
you
look
a
who we
chance.
got. We got Margot Robbie playing Harley Quinn. We got Joel Kinnaman coming back as Rick Flag because he did a great job.
Nice.
And I love Joel Kinnaman, dude. He was in the new Terminator movie. Or no, not Terminator, RoboCop. He did a great job in that. He was in The Killing, which is a good series where he was a detective and he played that really well.
Alter Carbon on Netflix, I believe.
Yeah.
Series he's in.
Idris Elba is going to be in that. John Cena.
Now, is that confirmed? Because we mentioned that on an earlier podcast. Is he
Idris
Deadshot?
Elba is confirmed, but not as a disclosed character. They have not released that.
Well,
But-
I read a rumor that it's Deadshot, so it has to be. I'm just gonna that.
Everything you read online is true, guys.
It is. It's absolutely true. If it's on a fucking URL, it's true.
I don't care about anybody in that movie except for David. What is his name again? Desmelchian. Polka Dot Man. I already talked about it on our previous podcast. Can't wait to see him.
Weren't you saying he's the guy that was in the Dark Knight series? He was one of the Joker's goons.
Yeah, he was the guy that actual Harvey Dent captured at the end that he was going to kill, and Batman stopped him, saying he doesn't know anything.
Yeah, he's one of Ant-Man's buddies in Marvel. That's right.
Yep.
Scott Lang. All right, cool.
Yep.
That's cross universe right there.
I know. He's a great actor too, man. That movie is going to be a lot better, especially with James Gunn heading that project. I mean, I'm going to be way more stoked to see that movie than the last one. But regardless, I think we finished off saying that Margot Robbie was the best part of that, and their relationship with each other was probably the most entertaining out of that movie, right?
No, you're right. You're right. I mean, that's the biggest highlight from that film by far.
Yep. And then only time will tell, Mike, until we see this next movie, and we could talk about it then and tell everybody our favorite parts of this one. I mean, just out of the trailer, we already really talked about all of our favorite parts within that, so I don't really feel like repeating myself. But I'm just being straightforward, man. Just being straightforward. They heard it. They know we're excited about it. They know what we're excited for.
We're fucking excited, okay?
This is a Dodge Stratus. How dare you?
I'm a Division I manager. How dare you?
Oh my God. It is.
SNL's Will Ferrell. Definitely check that out.
All right. Well, are you all finished up, Mike? Do you have anything else to say about the Joker before we close it out?
Hey, man. Great character. some amazing portrayals throughout the last 30 plus years. Very excited to see Joaquin Phoenix's interpretation. I feel like it's from what we're seeing right now. If we're misled by any means, fuck, man, like our bad, but it looks good. So
yeah,
definitely.
On the focus meter as of right now, I'm definitely giving it. I'm not even going to give it a maximum focus. I am pumped for it, but I'm going to give it a good. I in fairness can't give anything a total maximum focus until I see a little bit more.
Dude, I'm giving this shit a maximum focus. I'm going to
good.
That 4K fucking steelbook. Like, I don't even care. Dude, I own Suicide Squad, just so you know, in 4K in a steelbook. So I might talk shit about that film, but I am very much a collector as far as comic book films go. So yes, I am super, super pumped for this movie.
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm pumped for it, but I still have my reservations about it. I mean, again, one trailer dropped. That's all we've seen. And, I love that, but that also leaves a lot of room for hopefully what we get next is just equally as good.
Do this, dude. You got to go out on a limb here and be positive. Like this is
a Joker movie. I'm not going to be positive.
No, this is the one that's going to fucking like exceed all expectations. It's going to be great.
God, I really hope so.
6 months from now, we can look back at this podcast and say, see, fuckers, we called it out.
See, fuckers, we did it.
See? All right. Sweet.
All right,
man. This was fun. Everyone listening, thank you so much. We appreciate your support. It means the world to us. We all really appreciate, reaching out through, obviously, Ryan has been an amazing advocate for our podcast. He's gotten together, obviously, our intro to the podcast. He is queuing up a website for us. There's so much stuff he's doing. Obviously, we just got a new logo. Shout out to Ryan for this podcast because, yeah, dude, your heart is awesome. It's huge.
I appreciate it, man. I appreciate having you on board with us too, because we're really building this together, and like we've been, very.
I fucking love you, man. Seriously, no, it's been good, man. It's been this has been fun.
Yeah, it has. All right. Well, hey, like we finish every podcast, if you guys ever want to leave us any kind of message, rating, suggestion, we do have a Twitter page. So it's at twitter.com/what'sthefocus. We also have an email that you can feel free to send us the same thing. And that's at what'sthefocus@yahoo.com. And like Mike did say, man, we're going to have a full-fledged website here pretty soon where people can make comments there. They can make suggestions there. We're going to eventually later down the line have some apparel. If anybody'd like to support us to get the name out there with some hats and sweatshirts and some other little trinkets.
What?
Yep.
No,
awesome.
Oh
yeah, man. I got a full 3x3, 3-inch by 3-inch sticker that's coming to us hot off the press. We're starting big, man.
Put that shit on my mailbox, man. Hell yeah.
Let the mail people know what's up.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, baby.
What's up, federal government?
Thanks for listening, everyone. Really appreciate it.
Appreciate it. You guys have a great night, and we will see you sometime this next coming week. Thanks again. We're out.
Dunkin' has a whole new line of handcrafted signature lattes. Blueberry Crisp, Caramel Craze, and Cocoa Mocha. They're so delicious, you'll realize that you've been spending a whole latte time drinking the wrong coffee. So even though you've been together for years, it's time to say goodbye to your ex, Coffee Place. Because you've got a latte love for Dunkin's signature lattes. Sipping is believing with Dunkin's new handcrafted signature lattes, like Blueberry Crisp, Caramel Craze, or Cocoa Mocha. America runs on Dunkin'. Price and participation may vary. Limited time offer.